What up, nerds? My name is Leslie Smith. Welcome back to the Nerdy Narrative. Today, I'm going to do a book tag. I was recently tagged in the I Know What You Read Last Summer book tag by the channel Goddess of Gore. I will, of course, have her channel linked down below, as well as the original creators of the tag. The name of the tag and the prompts are really what attracted me to this one, because y'all know I love my slashers. So let's jump right into these. I did make an effort to keep all of my answers thriller slasher based, but there were just some that was impossible to do, but I thought it would be really fun to stay with that theme, so I tried. Prompt number 1, Final Girl, a book with a strong female protagonist. And you all probably have guessed who I picked, and that is J. Daniels from Stephen Graham Jones' The Indian Lake Trilogy, which begins with My Heart is a Chainsaw. I really enjoy the character development over these first 2 books. It's my personal opinion that what Stephen Graham Jones did with this character in book 1 and the direction that he took the character in book 2 just made perfect sense. Absolutely recommend. I'm so excited for the 3rd book. Has it been announced yet? I need to look at that and make sure I have a place for it on my TBR. Prompt number 2, Popcorn, a book you couldn't put down or stop reading. All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. This was voted to be a patron-only vlog. That failed. I think I did one because I started it, I read the prologue, I read chapter 1, it was late at night, so that's all I had time to read. But the next day, I finished it. It was amazing, as always. S.A. Cosby is just top tier when it comes to writing. The characters are amazing. The insight, even better. I just cannot speak enough good about S.A. Cosby. Anywhere is good to start. I've had a couple of people say, where should I start? Anywhere. They're all good. I've read 2. I have the other 2 on my shelf to get to. This one really got me because there's a serial killer involved. Y'all know how I love my serial killers, and oh my goodness, that book was just so good. There were so many tiny little nuanced things that I love that S.A. Cosby read into his character that I just related to. I will have all of my written reviews linked in the description box below if you want to read more details about all of the books I'm going to talk about in this video. If there was a dedicated review for it, I'll make sure those videos are in the card for y'all as well. Prompt number 3, Ticket. Name the book that introduced you to your favorite genre. This is where I had to get off of my thriller slasher kick and go with a fantasy, because fantasy remains my favorite genre. The majority of what I read does fall in the fantasy category, and my gateway to fantasy that really cinched it as my favorite genre was The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. I want to say I picked this one up back when I was a little baby teenager in 1992, 93, and just loved it. I was hooked. There was only maybe 3 or 4 books of The Wheel of Time out at the time, so I read all of those, and then I just had to suffer through all of the years that were between the books that were being published back then. Prompt number 4, Outdoor Cinema. Name a book that has the best book to film adaptation. I have 2, and they're both science fiction, which is kind of funny. The first is The Martian by Andy Weir. That movie with Matt Damon is almost word for word what this book is, though I do feel the book had more humor in it than the movie did. Zero complaints for either one. Really enjoyed both. And then the other adaptation is this series, the Expanse series. Another very close adaptation, at least in the early seasons of the show. The series ended before the book series, and it was dumb, and they changed things, and whatever, we're just not gonna go there. They really paid attention to the books. Like, the whole first season of the show is book 1, Leviathan Wakes, from the Expanse series. Just highly recommend both the show and the book series. The second part of the outdoor cinema prompt is a film that has a better sequel than the original. I would have to say that would be The Empire Strikes Back. That has always been my favorite Star Wars movie of the franchise. When I got my first tattoo, that was the inspiration, one of my favorite scenes. I don't know if I can actually get my arm twisted around, but on my forearm It's Stitch and Scrump, but they're doing the Dagobah scene where Luke is doing a handstand and he's balancing Yoda on his feet and lifting the rocks with the Force. Just absolutely love that movie. The final part of prompt number 4 is name a scary movie that you recommend. And I really had a hard time picking one. I think the scariest movie I ever saw where I was actually scared to go home. I lived by myself at the time and I lived way out in the middle of nowhere and I was scared to death. It was the remake for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That movie messed me up. I did not sleep for probably 3 nights. That was too good. That was too good. Prompt number 5, the movie. A movie you are too scared to watch. And I want to watch it, but I just know it's gonna screw me up. And that one would be Evil Dead Rise. I saw a movie poster and I was like, ooh, I wanna see that. And then I saw a trailer at the beginning of another movie and y'all, there's no way your girl is gonna be able to watch that one. I don't even think I could watch it in full sunlight during the day and not be scarred for that one. I don't know. Maybe if it ever becomes a Halloween Horror Nights haunted house, I will absolutely make myself watch it because I like to see how they adapt the house from the movie. And I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to just cross that bridge when we get there. Prompt number 6, Summer Lovin', a book recommendation for the summer. Ooh, I have a lot. I couldn't choose just one. So a really fun paranormal thriller series by C.K. McDonald, who is an Irish comedian, is called The Stranger Times. I laughed so much reading the series. There are 3 books out so far. The audiobooks are a must by Brendan McDonald. He does so well with all of these different English accents. It's too funny. But The Stranger Times is a newspaper that reports on all things that go bump in the night, and their investigations lead to some interesting developments. Next, a science fiction super fun summer series would be Wistful Ascending by J.C.M. Byrne. Do I really need to say anything more other than superheroes in space? Or, I don't know, if Harry Dresden wasn't a wizard, instead he had superpowers in space. Again, a lot of really great humor and fun characters. And let's just stay in that sci-fi vein for a second. Another really fun summer fun read, because summer to me, fun, nostalgia. And I'm recommending all these really fun books because summer means happiness. It means laughter and sunshine. Sunshine and happiness go hand in hand to me. So Stringers by Chris Panettiere. This one features a really great friendship. Pickles getting abducted by an alien. I mean, poor Ben. This guy really goes through it all, and it is just absolutely hilarious. This is like if Jay and Silent Bob ever accidentally got abducted by aliens and taken into outer space, though those aliens would definitely bring them back, which ultimately is what happens here. I just love this one. I've been recommending it ever since I read it. And then go back to fantasy for a minute, and this is a YA fantasy called The Legend of Blackjack by A.R. Witham. This is the modern day never-ending story, and this one just makes your heart happy, and it's gonna touch you and leave an impact. It's one that if you have kids, you're gonna wanna read it to them. If you don't have kids, but you've got nieces and nephews, you're gonna wanna give them a copy of it. It's just a feel-good portal fantasy about Jack Swift. Have some tissue nearby for that one. And I'm going to end by bringing it back to thriller slasher, which is I feel the theme of this tag. My final summer recommendation is The Cursed Among Us by John Durgan. In addition to it being a great fun slasher summer read, the nostalgia for the 90s just permeates each and every page. And like I said, summer makes me feel nostalgic, and this book just delivers. And what drew me to it in the beginning? A serial killer. A serial killer who... yeah, I'm not gonna tell you. That's a spoiler. Oh, I forgot one. I can't believe I forgot one. My last, for real, summer fun recommendation is The Crew by Sadir Eslamir. This book is everything. Great characters, interesting magic system, a great writing style, a unique and different plot. I literally cannot say enough good about this one. There is nothing that I did not enjoy. All 7 aspects that I look at when I am reading and reviewing a book, this one nailed each and every one. Nothing but love for the crew by Sadier Eslamir. Prompt number 7, Scythe Assassin. A villain you would love to interview. No, I'm not going to interview a single one of those suckers, because what if I ask a question that they don't like? No, we're not going to do that. Prompt number 8, The Group of Friends. A book with the worst friend group. Now this was odd because generally the question is a book with your favorite friend group, but this is one with the worst, and it stumped me for quite a while. And then I remembered, I just recently read a series where the villains are the ones who must save the multiverse. They really are the worst friend group. I mean, we have one who started an apocalypse and basically wiped out the majority of the world. Another is a serial killer. Another had a home invasion and he just left his family to get... Yeah, they're literally the worst. Author Joseph Sale proves that people can change, many in ways that you don't expect, but also sometimes they don't change. Just an excellent series. Prompt number 9, End of Course, your last DNF. That was Mother Howe by Craig Clevenger. I thought it was going to be the character development of a teenage boy whose father was a serial killer. The boy and his mother had no idea that the father was the serial killer, but he gets captured, sent to jail. And I thought it was going to be about this kid growing up with the stigma of being the son of a serial killer, because you know people probably thought they knew. And then there would be others who didn't care if you knew or didn't know. They were going to take out their anger on this boy and his mother. But it jumped forward to when he was an adult and he's got a new identity, and apparently this being that just fell to the earth. I don't know if this was angel or demon or what exactly it was supposed to be. It went by the name of Icarus, and it just did not work for me. Prompt number 10, Summer Party. A book with the worst party in it. This one was super difficult because there may be parties in a lot of the books that I read, but if they weren't really that memorable, it didn't bring them to the forefront. So I had to go with a recent read, and you wouldn't know about this party unless you read it, and it would be a spoiler for me to talk about it. But in Emily Henry's Happy Place, it's a group of friends. They're at their happy place, which is another home that's owned by the parents of one of the friend groups. There's this party that was planned and it just really goes south, but it wasn't terrible. It was funny, but it didn't go the way that it was planned. I don't know. I'm doing a terrible job. So we're just gonna move on to the next prompt. Prompt 11, We Have a Secret. A character that talks too much. I would have to say that would be Bob, the master technician of the decommissioned space station, Kuiper Station. And he doesn't just talk too much in the first book of the series, he talks too much in the whole series, and it's really funny, but it's also how he learns things, because things change for him in each of the different books, and he's learning how to deal with these different changes, how to fit into society and different type of social groups. And he does that by asking a ton of questions. A lot of them are annoying and it's really funny. I enjoyed it. And then prompt number 12 is Cabin in the Woods. What is the best setting for a book? And I kind of have two. I really love, especially when talking about thrillers, slashers, I love a winter setting because snow dampens everything and hides stuff. And then another fun setting, a setting that is always going to have me saying yes to a book, is if it takes place in an asylum. Yes, you should be worried about me. I am a twisted soul. And then the final prompt, an appropriate number of prompts for this tag, prompt 13, which is Friday the 13th, a book that traumatized you. I have two for two different reasons. So the first one is Michael Clark's The Patience of a Dead Man. This book scared the stuffing out of me, just the suspense, the dread, not what happened, but what might happen. My imagination just went wild with the way that Michael Clark wrote the suspense in this one. It was so good. It is my favorite haunted house story ever. My friend Stacy just read it and she was sending me Voxer messages after each chapter and I was literally dying. I will save those messages forever, and when I do my next reread, I'm gonna have to listen to her messages because they were absolutely everything. My other book that traumatized me, but in a different way, was Buzzard's Bowl by John Palladino. This one traumatized me because of the character development, a specific character arc. This is a grim dark fantasy series, and it is the grimmest, darkest fantasy series that I've read to date. How these characters are, what their motivations are, their ambitions, what drives them. There is no secret to the depths these characters will do to accomplish their goals. That is straightforward, given to you. It is shown to you on the pages. You don't read about how these characters got their reputations. You get to see them earn it, which I really love. You still care about some of these characters, and I forgot they're in it for them. They do what they need to do to accomplish their end goal. They are who they need to be to get what they want. And so when this one character showed me who they've always been, I wasn't expecting it, and it just broke me. Oh my gosh, it broke me. And then another character, oh my gosh, I cried and cried, and this character is not even really a character. I'm not gonna tell you, because if you haven't read it, you get to feel that pain. We can talk about it after. As soon as it happens, you're gonna know exactly what it was that made me cry so bad, and I bet it gets you too. Thank you all so much for watching today. I hope you found it entertaining, and maybe you even found a few that you would like to add to your TBR for this summer or even September, October, since I mentioned a few horror and slashers. While I find those types of books fun to read year round, I know a lot of people look for those around the fallish time of year, so hopefully I mentioned a few that will strike your fancy if you're someone looking for those types in the fall season. Again, thank you for being here and watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one.